Hello, my name is Jacqueline Cole, and I am the treasurer for the Phi Lambda Sigma Pharmacy Leadership Society organization. I do apologize that I was unable to attend the House of Delegates live this year, but I have submitted this recording in lieu of my attendance to help supplement the material available in your delegate packet. So feel free to refer to that as I go through my report, and I will try to make it as succinct as possible so that you can get on with the rest of the delegate meeting. All right, so I do want to lead with there is a 3-year budget that we implemented a few years ago. So 2025 was the second year of that 3-year budget implementation. Our fiscal year runs from January 1 to the end of December each year. And so I am reporting on the 2025 information. We are now in 2026 and beginning that third and final year of this 3-year cycle, which will be redone with the next group for another 3-year cycle moving forward. When this 3-year cycle was built, I would like to clarify that it was purposely built to have a deficit budget, meaning that we planned purposely to spend excess funds, specifically that we had acquired during the COVID-19 pandemic and when things like travel, meetings, expenses we had expected could no longer be funded, we had excess money. And so the decision was made by the board to reinvest that into our membership. And so this 3-year budget cycle, again, I'm reporting on that second year in the 3-year cycle, purposefully had a plan to have a net negative variance, but we are very sound financially. It was purposeful, again, because we had unexpected increase in funding available that we wanted to reinvest in membership. So if you hear that and you hear negative variance or deficit, it sounds a little bit scary, but it was very much planned. And as I will report here shortly, we actually do a really good job of not spending as much as we planned in this process. So for the 2025 fiscal year, we had a planned deficit amount of $9,929.65. And we actually finalized the end of the year with a net negative variance of only $6,670.10. So again, even when we're trying to spend, we do a really good job of not actually spending more or even as much as planned. For our accounts, we do have 3 major accounts available for the organization. That will be our checking account, which is going to fund our day-to-day operations. And we typically keep about $20,000 worth of funding in there at a given time to ensure that we're able to do the day-to-day operations. The money market account, which we keep in order to have that supply of about a 6 months operating expense. So worst case scenario, we have that side amount of money available, not as liquid, but available should we need to pull it. And so that's something that we are very cautious with. It was previously invested in alternating 3 and 6 month CDs. And in June 2025, the Finance Committee decided to take it out of the CDs only because we wanted to make sure that we were supporting the strategic initiatives of the organization. And you will see that we did well with those. And then we finally have our investment account. So for our end of year, the checking account closed out the year with a balance of $32,501.98. For our money market account, we concluded the year with $61,028.07. Which was increased from $59,610.38 from the previous year. And then for our investment account, we very much fell in line with the stock market, so no surprise there. But we did end the year with $277,302.99 compared to $270,804.58 the previous year. So by all accounts, we were doing, or we did a great job of increasing and being very financially stable for an overview of the entire end of year funding. Revenue continues to be heavily dependent on membership and membership materials. That's nothing new for our organization. We did see a slightly less income in the membership specifically, and that's likely attributed to smaller class sizes within colleges of pharmacy, nothing concerning, but we were able to offset that anticipated amount in various ways, such as credit card rewards, additional donations, and I think a surprise and fun one for us were the anniversary pin bundle sets that were very popular with our membership, and we're glad that we were able to provide that to commemorate our anniversary. For our expenses, they continue to heavily be focused on our paid staff model. As with similar organizations of our size, we need to make sure that there are employees running the organization to get orders in and make sure that the operations are functioning and processing everything appropriately. So that has been pretty standard with our budget over the past few years and running within expectations. We also, like I said, had planned to use a lot of that money to reinvest in membership. So a large portion of our funding continues to be used for leadership training and awards for our membership. We also support our in-person executive committee retreat each year, and then additional meetings and chapter support. One other thing that I want to note is that technology continues to be the bane of our existence. So technology fees continue to be a struggle in that we can try to anticipate, but we did not anticipate how much those jumps would be. And we don't really have a say or a negotiation option. So if a company says this is how much to use our server, we do need to pay that. And so as we plan ahead for the next 3-year cycle, that is a discussion finance has been having, the finance committee, to account for expected technology costs. So those were about 42.66 above our approved budget. Again, nothing that we could have anticipated. We do know to be a little bit more aggressive in that funding for the future. But as I stated with our opening account overview, we are still financially sound. It's just that's one of our more volatile costs for the organization where it's a little hard to control. Finally, as I mentioned, we always want to make sure that we're reinvesting in our membership. Another way that we do that is through our leadership cohorts, through the Giant Worldwide Training. We continue to offer 4 cohorts to our memberships, including professional and graduates, alumni, each year, and that's at no cost to the participants. And so that is another way that we are reinvesting in our membership. Overall investments for the organization, the Finance Committee reviews this each year to say what level of risk we are comfortable with for our funding, and we let Edward Jones know that. Consistently, the Finance Committee has voted to maintain that moderate level with the thought process that we're not so conservative, we don't make money, but we are not using organizational funding very aggressively like someone might do with their individual account, right? Because it's not our money, it's the organization's money. And so that's been playing out very well for us. We've been very comfortable with that, but that will be up for renewal again in the summer. So we will see if that continues. Again, historically, we have stayed, and again, last year, at that moderate level of risk. All right, so for our future plans, we will continue to work on that meaningful budgeting, conservative spending. We do continue to identify diversification opportunities for income to make sure that we're able to stay financially stable, but also give back to our membership as much as possible. And as a group, both the board and the Finance Committee has continued to fine-tune policies or create new policies to make sure that we are being very good stewards to safeguard our funds and mitigate risk. So that is the short and sweet version of my report. Additional details are available in your packets. Thank you guys so much and enjoy the rest of House of Delegates.